Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of the Legal Marketing Minute. This week we'll be talking about the idea that you don't need to actually worry about your legal marketing. Sounds strange coming from a legal marketing blog and company? Let's talk about it. Hello, I'm John Delancey, founder of White Raven Technology, a bespoke legal marketing agency, and your host for the Legal Marketing Minute, our weekly show where we'll discuss ideas around legal marketing and tips and suggestions for how you can improve your own or what to look for if you're working with another agency. As mentioned, this week we'll be talking about the idea that you don't need to actually worry about your legal marketing. That's a pretty strange idea coming from a marketing agency owner, right? Well, yes. And so, caveat number one, I don't agree with that advice. Now, let's actually talk about where this idea came from. The idea was actually published in an article about 2 years ago by another attorney on a very popular legal blog, and put forth the notion that legal marketing is a waste of your time and money. The author obviously presented an alternative to legal marketing, and we'll talk about that as well, but let's dive into the problem that he is describing in this article. The first problem he describes is that modern consumers are inundated day in and day out by marketing from every angle in every medium, and he's absolutely correct. You cannot turn on a television, a radio, or look at your smartphone, or Facebook, or Twitter, or anything else without being absolutely bombarded by marketing messages from anyone and everyone. The idea here, though, is that because people are bombarded by this messaging, that we shouldn't waste our time and money trying to break into that noise and get our message heard as well. I don't agree with that notion, and we'll talk about why shortly. The second idea is that bad lawyers have been producing bad marketing over the years for so long that the public has generally assumed that all lawyers are bad. There's some truth to this argument as well, but we'll talk about why that shouldn't actually stop us from pursuing legal marketing shortly as well. Now, the alternative put forward by this author, rather than focusing on legal marketing, or what we traditionally consider legal marketing, was to focus instead on referrals and word of mouth, or in other words, networking. Now, there's no argument here. Word of mouth and referrals from your family and friends and community are without question the best source of clients you will ever have. Bar none, no argument. But there's two things to say about this. First, networking is marketing. Okay, now we're diving into semantics a bit here, so I won't focus on that too much, but let's leave it at the fact that basically anything you do in order to find new clients to promote your services is marketing. So networking definitely qualifies there, so it kind of gets confusing in some ways in that respect. But now the second thing I want to point out here again is kind of duh. Obviously, you need to focus on word of mouth and referrals and keeping your clients happy, to encourage them to offer you testimonials, whether formally on your website or by just referring you to their family and friends. Clearly, you need to focus on that. So what I want to say is, I believe the intent behind this article was sincere. I don't think anything malicious was intended. I think the advice is a bit misguided, though. And that's not just coming from the perspective of a marketing agency owner. Whether you turn to a marketing agency or you manage your own website and social media profiles and newsletters and billboards and TV spots and whatever those things are, you cannot be in business without marketing, including networking. So the idea that legal marketing in general is a waste of your time and money is not only misguided, but it is damaging to potential attorneys who need to market their services and find new clients, particularly if they're just starting out. Now, what is the problem with word of mouth marketing or networking as described here? Well, it isn't scalable. Okay, just think about it. You can't be at every possible event in your community. You can't be the captain of every one of your kids' teams. You can't go to every single Rotary Club meeting and network effectively at every opportunity. Okay, so it isn't scalable. At some point, you're going to reach a maximum return on your investment in time spent networking and garnering those word of mouth referrals and so forth. So the potential problem here is, if you're not happy with the rate of growth for your company, then you've maximized your ability to network, then you're kind of stuck. So you have to turn to other means of legal marketing. If you are just beginning in business, if you've just stepped out and you're a solo attorney or a very small law firm, and you're trying to get your name out there and you're trying to begin earning those first clients, word of mouth is hard to work. I mean, you have a network, of course, you have family and friends, but the reach of your network is going to be much more limited as you're beginning. And again, like I said, even if you're an established business and you're not happy with how fast your business is growing or how large your business is growing, you can't really extend beyond the bounds of your network in that case. So at some point then, you have to turn to the more traditional means of legal marketing. Okay. Now, what is valid about the advice that was given in this article? Well, first of all, again, word of mouth is without question the best source of high quality clients you will ever have. No question about that. Okay, I'm not arguing that in any way, shape, or form. The other really salient point that was made in this article was that any marketing that you undertake, and of course he wasn't calling networking marketing, but any form of marketing that you undertake must be undertaken sincerely, and it must offer value to your clients to be successful in the modern era. Now, this is where we come back to this idea that modern consumers are inundated with marketing messages day in and day out. And the good news is that most of that marketing that they're subjected to is very poor marketing. It's buy me, buy me, buy me, or select my services, or this is why I'm the best thing for you. That's not good marketing. That's just blasting your message and hoping that occasionally someone might bite. So modern marketing, successful modern marketing, is built on the premise that you offer value to your prospect without expecting anything in return. It's a hard pill to swallow for attorneys especially, I think, because you have spent, as the article points out, you've spent so much time and money and effort obtaining the knowledge that is what you have to offer to the world. So it's hard to swallow this pill or this idea that you would give that information away for free. And I'm not talking about giving away everything you know, okay? It's more about educating the client who may not even know that he or she needs your services, or providing alternatives to pursuing legal relief for whatever their problem might be. Yes, that's counterintuitive in some ways, but what it does is it creates a relationship immediately between you and that prospective client. And then if they really do need your legal services, who are they going to turn to? They're going to turn to the attorney who gave them the information they needed. Plain and simple, without expecting anything in return. That is the idea of effective modern marketing, and that works whether you're talking about networking and word of mouth, or whether you're talking about blogging, or video blogging, or Facebook marketing, or advertising via pay-per-click ads on Google. Whatever the form of marketing you're talking about, offer value and undertake it sincerely. So, what are the takeaways from this discussion today? First and foremost, a balanced approach is what I recommend in every case, especially if you're just beginning your journey in marketing, okay? You have to find what works for your business and your practice areas in your market. Plain and simple. You can't just assume that word of mouth is all you'll ever need. And you can't just assume that having a website and a blog and a Facebook profile will get you all the clients you ever want. You cannot assume that. There is no universal truth there, so a balanced approach is what's necessary in order to find the formula that works for you and your business in your market. The second takeaway I want to point out is that word of mouth marketing is often very much underutilized, okay? Especially in an era where many of our social interactions, or most of our social interactions in some case, take place online through these social networks. We are less and less involved in many cases with people in a face-to-face manner. It's very easy to write off this idea of networking and reaching out personally to friends and family and saying, hey, I'm in business. If you or anyone you know needs legal services, send them my way. It's harder to go to these networking events or become the coach for your kid's soccer team and use that as an opportunity to teach people around you who you are and what you can do for them in a way that doesn't turn them off immediately. So word of mouth and referrals and networking tends to be an underutilized aspect, particularly for younger attorneys, for younger professionals. It is an underutilized aspect of marketing, or an underutilized kind of marketing. So don't forget it. And don't just assume that you don't need to worry about it, because it is the best source for high quality clients, plain and simple. And likewise, don't ignore the other side of legal marketing. Don't assume necessarily that word of mouth is all you'll ever need. You might decide that you aren't happy with the size of your business or the rate at which it's growing, and at that point you're behind the bell curve. So again, take that balanced approach. At least have a website and have it done well. Or even if it can't be done well, have one. As my wife pointed out, and she is a millennial just as I am, she would not actually turn to Google or social media or look for advertising to find the attorney she needs. She would be the one who starts with friends and family. But she did point out that as soon as someone gave her a name, the very first thing she would do is Google that name. She would find that person online and do her own research at that point to find out if that attorney is the right fit for her needs. So don't forget that. Even if you are relying on word of mouth marketing, you need to have something for them to find that describes who you are and what your business is about. So without that, she would keep going and find the next name in the list. Just keep that in mind. Now, that wraps up our discussion for this week. I hope you've enjoyed this quick discussion of this notion that you don't need to worry about legal marketing, and I hope that I have dispelled it, at least for the most part. If you like what you see here, absolutely please hit that subscribe button. We'll be posting every single week on a new topic related to legal marketing. If you have any questions or comments, please use the comment section below here on YouTube or on our website, where this will also be posted in blog form. And we look forward to seeing you next week. Thanks a million.